Today we're going to be doing a live dumbbell workout using a bench. So all these exercises are going to be focusing on the muscles in the arms, because my goal for the next 2 months is to increase the muscle mass in my arms. And if you're looking to join me in that fitness journey, go ahead and hit that like button for me to let me know you want more content like this. My goal is to show you all the workouts it took to get to this point. So I'm going to be doing all my workouts live on camera. So there's nothing happening off behind the scenes that I'm doing differently than what I'm telling you to do. And we'll see how much progress we can make in the next 2 months. So if you are willing to join me, hit that like button to let me know you want more content like this. So today we're also going to talk a little bit about protein and how much protein you should eat, and how I ate the wrong amount of protein because of the labels on packaging. So we'll get into that in just a minute. But for now, what we're going to do is I'm going to take my bench and I'm going to adjust this up. So I like to do it somewhere around 45 degrees. We're going to be starting by working the muscles in the upper arm, in that bicep, doing a preacher curl. So I'm going to start by warming up first. I'm going to start with a lighter dumbbell. I'm going to start with a 10 pound for a warm up, and then we'll move to the 20 pound later. So the warm up lets the muscle get ready, get some blood flow into the muscle, so I'm not going in cold. For a preacher curl, I'm going to put my elbow right here on the bench. It stays on that bench the whole time. I like the bench for this because it actually stabilizes the joint. It makes it so I can't cheat and use my hips to swing. And it gives extra control to that movement. So I'm gonna go down to where my hand is almost touching the bench. The dumbbell taps the bench, and I come back up. So I'm really letting that muscle fully lengthen into this movement. And that length, that high tension position in the muscle, is what's going to help grow that muscle faster. So you don't want to do a half rep of this where you only go half down and back up. Try and pick a dumbbell that's light enough where you can go through the entire rep without it hurting your tendon. Some people, it's a little uncomfortable because their tendon is not quite strong enough yet. So starting with a little bit lighter dumbbell is better, and then build up that tendon strength as well. So we're slowly easing into this. If you need to, you can always do higher reps, where I'm aiming for about 10 reps, but you could aim for a lighter dumbbell and go 15, 20 reps and get the same muscle building effect. So the studies that have been done on this say that muscle size can come from either high reps or high weight, and they're both equally effective as long as they are challenging the muscle. So as long as you feel that tension, feel that muscle fatigue, it's totally fine either way. So I'm warming up my elbows and biceps, getting blood flow into that muscle before I go heavier. Now, this is another thing, it's a great way of finding what the appropriate weight is for an exercise for you. Start light and then work your way up. So let's say if you have a couple different dumbbells, you could start with a 5 pound dumbbell. And if that's a little too light, you could go to an 8 pound dumbbell or a 10 pound dumbbell and see how that feels. And 10. So that is our bicep exercise. I'm also going to be working a tricep exercise. So I'm going to be doing a skull crusher. So I'm going to set the bench back down to flat. And grab 2 dumbbells for this one. Now I like this exercise because it puts the tricep in a lengthened position. So I'm gonna have my hands right over the top of my shoulders. I'm gonna bend my elbows, letting my hands come back towards my ears, keeping my elbows up and in, and push out towards the front. Now this is great because it puts a lot of tension into that tricep and that long head of the tricep, that long piece of muscle that goes all the way to your shoulder. So a lot of people work just 2/3 of that tricep, or 2 parts of that tricep, that medial and lateral head, but they don't work that long head of the tricep, that largest piece of that muscle. To work that effectively, I need my elbows higher than my shoulders to put high tension into that part of the muscle. And now I'm going to go to a heavier dumbbell. So if you're like me and wanting larger arms, one thing I'm doing right now is actually increasing the number of calories I'm eating per day to give my body enough fuel to actually build up muscle. Because if I don't have the calories, there's nothing to actually build up the mass from. So, and that was something that I've been lifting for a long time, but up until just a couple years ago, I was actually eating way too little protein. What I would do is I'd look at the recommended daily allotment or allowance, the RDA, on packaging and say, oh, you know, this has 40 grams of protein. That's most of the protein I need in a day. And turns out that is way too little protein for someone my size. So I was only eating, let's say 40, 50, 60 grams at most of protein in a day. And when in actuality, for building muscle, to do it effectively, I need more like 150 grams of protein in a day. Because I am very tall, I'm 6'1", and 200 pounds. So I used to be eating maybe 1 chicken breast a day. And then I'd have like peanut butter sandwiches or oatmeal or things, other foods, but not really high protein foods. And so I wasn't giving my body the nutrients it needed to actually build muscle. So even though the little nutritional box says, oh, this is 40% of your protein for the day, it's probably not based on the number that's effective for you. So what I found for me, and having done more research on it, is that the number is closer to 0.7 grams of protein per pound of body weight. So that means you multiply your body weight in pounds by 0.7. So if you're 100 pounds, that means you're eating 70 grams of protein. If you're 200 pounds, it's 140 grams. So I was eating a little more than 1/3 of the protein that I needed to actually build muscle, or to maximize how much muscle I'm building. So I wasn't giving my body the right amount of protein, so it had nothing to build muscle with. And so even though I was lifting, I was plateauing in how much muscle I was actually building. There was a while where I lost a ton of weight. I went down to 170 pounds. I just was not eating enough. And then, unfortunately, I tried to gain weight back quickly. And so that made me gain a lot of fat, because suddenly I went from not eating enough to eating way too much to try and gain back the weight I had lost. And so I gained fat instead of muscle, mostly because I did it quickly. So rather than, if I had been smarter about it, I would have kept working out and gained muscle back slow, or gained weight back slowly, so it could have turned into muscle more than fat. So now what I've been doing is trying to lose weight for 2 months and then gain muscle for 2 months and alternate between those two. So my goal is to try and have a 6-pack by age 40. And so I'm 38 right now, trying to go build up my physique by 40. Doesn't happen overnight, but little by little, chipping away at it, building up that muscle, lowering that fat. For me, I'm trying to lose about 1 pound a week when I'm losing weight, and then gain back 1/2 pound of muscle when I'm trying to gain weight. So I take, right now, it's November, so I'm taking November and December, and every week I gain about 1/2 pound, trying to make that mostly muscle. And then beginning of January, I'm gonna go to losing 1 pound a week again to try and cut down the fat. So build muscle, cut down fat, build muscle, cut down fat. So if that sounds good to you, if you want to join me in that journey and see what I'm doing and be here, and if you are looking for any sort of help in your journey, I'm here Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific time. Hit that subscribe button to be here live. Love to talk with you, help you in any way I can. My degree is in exercise science. I'm trying to take that and apply it to my own life too. I have a degree in kinesiology, exercise science. So if you're looking to get any sort of help or just for encouragement or just someone to talk to, I'm here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday working out live. So you can come work out together or just come and say hi. So I'm doing multiple sets of these exercises to try and maximize the growth in that muscle. So for a muscle to grow, the more times you can repeat an exercise in a week, the faster that muscle will grow. Now, if you can only do one workout where you do the exercise once, that is okay. You can grow muscle doing that, but it will take you longer to build the same amount of muscle that you could. You're not usually able to hit your genetic potential by just one set a week. So that's why I'm trying to repeat the exercises multiple times to maximize how much I'm building that muscle. So it's also increasing the insulin sensitivity of my muscles. So I'm pulling nutrients into that muscle and not into the fat cells. So as we do resistance training, that muscle contraction is causing an enzyme in your muscle to activate to improve your muscle sensitivity to insulin. Because even though insulin, the hormone that actually pulls nutrients into the cells, insulin during a workout is going down, but the muscle activating that enzyme makes it so the little insulin you have is affecting your muscles, and that means it's not going to pull calories into your fat. If there's no calories to pull because they already got pulled into your muscle, all those sugars got absorbed by the muscle during the workout instead of the fat after. So that's why I really think resistance training is so effective. Even though it's not necessarily going to make you lose weight, it takes the calories and uses them for the muscles, not for adding more layers of tissue here. And going for a second set of skull crushers. So careful on this one to not let your dumbbells hit yourself in the cheeks. So you're gonna bend your elbows, bringing your hands down to your ears, and then pushing out towards the front. You should feel this in the back of your arm, back in here. My hands are just a little bit above my head. Sort of as I bend, my hands come right to my ears. I'm going until I feel tired in that muscle. It's usually somewhere around 10 reps. And 10. Now, I'm not going until I feel completely exhausted. I'm going until I feel like I could maybe do 1 or 2 more reps. I used to go until I was completely not able to push the weight up again. And that actually has limited me in my workouts. I know a lot of people want to push really hard and feel like they're working hard, and that's so great. That's such a good thing to know where your body's limit is. But once you know where that limit is, dialing it back to an 80-90% effort, but then going for longer in your workout, doing more sets of an exercise, actually, the science shows that that's more effective in general for people. They can usually, having more sets of a workout grows more muscle. Now, some people, they can still grow muscle with a very few number of sets where they do an exercise once. That's more rare, and why not give yourself the best chance of actually building as much muscle as you can? Now, if you're one of those rare people that can do that, where you do an exercise once and your muscle just balloons and gets huge, more power to you. That's great for you. I'm so happy for you. But most people, that's not how that works. So that's why we're adding multiple sets for each exercise. So we're repeating the same exercise to maximize that muscle growth. Now, on Monday, 2 days ago, I did a different bicep curl than I'm doing today. Now, the reason I'm switching it up is because that gives my joint a little bit different type of work in this same muscle, but I'm not wearing out my elbow joint, my shoulder joint, this muscle quite the same way, two workouts in a row. And so that makes me a little bit more resistant to being sore and overworked in a particular muscle. So the muscle cells, when each time you do a contraction, a different set of muscle cells fire each time. We call them motor units. And that just means that this cluster of cells works one time, then the next time it might be a different cluster. So varying up the exercises make it so I'm not hitting those same motor units quite as often. I can vary how that muscle is contracting a little bit, and that way I get a more well-rounded muscle and avoid burnout on that particular exercise. So I'm making sure I'm not overworking one motor unit and underworking another set of motor units. Now I'm trying to keep the same number of reps between sides, going through that full range of motion the entire time. So I'm not going halfway down and then coming back up. I'm going all the way out toward that high tension if you're liking this sort of workout and want to see more, if you want to join me along this fitness journey of building up arms, building up your arm muscles, hit that like button for me to let me know you want more content like this. All right, so that was set number 3. Now we're gonna do set 3 of skull crushers. Now, how many sets you do in a week varies for you. For me, I'd like to try and do at least 9 sets of a particular muscle. Not necessarily 9 sets about one exercise, but over a week's time, 9 sets into, let's say, the bicep muscle. So I might do preacher curls one day, standing curls another day, and then I could even do something like a pull-up on the 3rd day for working that bicep some. So doing 3 sets, 3 sets, and 3 sets. Now, for today, I'm really trying to build up this muscle more. So I'm gonna be trying for 4 or 5 sets to really add to how much that muscle is building. So, going into a skull crusher, leaning back, feet up flat on the ground, hands about shoulder width, and your thumbs are pointing in, elbows tucked in towards the middle. So I don't want my elbows flared like a bench press. No, we're not working the chest with this one. We're working that tricep in the back of the arm. So this is all an upper arm exercise. So bending down towards my ears, out towards the front. I'm trying to get as low as I can. You could almost touch the bench with the dumbbell. Just tapping it with right at the sides of your ears. Don't let the dumbbell actually rest on the bench because you want that muscle to be under high tension in this lengthened position. I'm going until I feel that fatigue in the muscle. And 10. Now you might feel stronger in one side than the other. That's okay. And say you're right-handed, you might feel like your left arm gives out before your right arm. If that's the case, that's your stopping point. You don't want to have one arm that's really big and then one arm that's a little bit smaller. You want to keep an even physique between the two. So I'd recommend just keep those reps the same and always go off of your non-dominant side, because that's the side that's usually going to need to stop earlier. Now, what that could mean when you're doing a single side, say you're doing preacher curls, and so I'm right-handed. If I start with my left hand and count the number of reps, that way I won't overshoot. If I start with my right side, say I could do 10 reps on my right side, but only 8 reps on my left. If I've already done 10 reps on the right and get to the left and can't do 10, then this side is gonna grow more than this side, probably. And it might even be visible that it's growing more. So, instead of starting with my right hand, if I don't know I can match those reps, I'll start with my non-dominant side, going down, tap, counting the number of reps that I'm doing. And especially the more consistently you can keep it even between the two, the more consistently those arms will grow together. Or arms will grow at the same rate. That'd be terrible to have your arms grow together where they actually get stuck together like 7. Trying to go for 10 reps, 8. Now there's nothing magic about 10, 9, and 10. I like to just shoot for 10 because it's a good balance of strength and endurance, and good for building muscle size. but you could absolutely go higher reps. And as long as you're challenging the muscle in the same way, it's not a problem. It's gonna grow the same amount of muscle as going lower reps, but higher weight. So I did 10 on my left, now I'm gonna do 10 reps on my right. 3, 4, I'm trying to go all the way out straight, 5. Now, if it's uncomfortable right here on your tendon to go all the way out straight, try a lighter dumbbell and just do higher reps. Go a light enough dumbbell where you don't feel that tendon hurting. And 10. And my right side is definitely a little bit stronger than my left. Was that set 4? I think that was set 4. So we're shooting for 4 sets. So if I do 3 sets, 4 sets, 3 sets on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, gets about 10 reps. I might do more on Friday. The more sets I can fit in a week, the faster my arms will grow. Let me know, do you guys find this to be, if I do this more sets, I'm trying to be really genuine on stream, but I know they can get repetitive to do the same exercises over and over. But the thing is, the way you actually build the muscle is by repeating the exercises. So I'm trying to be really genuine with that, even though I know it's not necessarily the prettiest workout. It is an effective one. So I'd rather show you what's real than try and make it look like something it's not. You know, I'm not trying to do a workout that looks pretty but it's not gonna work for you. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, I can do more, 11, and 12. Oh. So I'm not getting tied up in a rep number. I'm just going until I feel that fatigue in my arms. Something I found for me, since I started taking creatine, which is creatine monohydrate is a supplement that it helps with the metabolism or the quick energy system in your muscles. It's imagine it like the quick stored energy in your muscle. So when you go to work out, that's the first energy used, is that creatine ATP energy. So since I started taking creatine, I found that I actually have more fatigue resistance in a workout, where I can do more sets and potentially more reps of an exercise before my body wears out, before I'm like, oh, I need to stop, I'm so tired. So I found, for me, and the research supports this too, that you can actually build muscle faster in taking creatine. Now, like I said, I also really encourage having more protein. That was a big thing I was not doing when I was lifting during my 20s, is I was not having nearly enough protein. So I would not only increase the amount of time I spent sore after a workout, I increased my risk of injury, and was not building the muscle I could have. All right, that's our last set of that exercise. Now evening it out, going on my right arm too. Trying to finish strong. So I'm going full range of motion. I'm going all the way down, tapping the bench and coming back up. No half reps in this. Especially because this bottom part of the movement is the most important part for that muscle building. This here to here, not really that important. Here to here, that's where the muscle's built. And last one. Now in that last set, I'm going closer to failure just because as I fatigue, I'm not able to hit the same number of reps without being more tired. And that's okay. The goal is to not hit that fatigue point early in the workout though, because then that's going to impede, it's going to slow down all the rest of my workout. If I wait, or if I push a little less hard in the beginning, it actually lets me go further and build more muscle. I know it's counterintuitive, and I had this mentality for a long time of go hard or go home, really push it to the limit every single time. And all that's done for me is slow down my growth and make it harder on myself. It wasn't until I started reading the research and getting more feedback I realized that the people who are growing bigger and stronger faster were actually pacing themselves and going at a pace that worked for them, going that couple reps below failure to build muscle faster. Now, some people can still build muscle even going to failure. They'll still build impressive muscle, but that's depends on your genetics. And personally, I don't want to have to rely on my genetics because they're not good enough to do that. I don't build enough muscle just on one set. Now, if that's you do that, more power to you. But chances are you're probably more like me, where the muscle doesn't just balloon up and become huge. So you need to figure out how to make it work for you in spite of genetics, not because of them. So to do that, we need more sets of an exercise further away from failure. So trying to aim for that 2 reps in reserve, meaning I could do 2 more reps of this if I had to, but that's where I'm gonna stop. Like right there, I can maybe do 1 or 2 more reps at most, so I'm gonna stop there. Whew. I'm gonna set 1 dumbbell down. So, actually I'm gonna drop this down to a 10-pound as well. So we're gonna move to another exercise. This is going to be a lateral raise. So this is working that deltoid muscle right here, that ball of muscle around your shoulder. So I'm gonna do a modified lateral raise though, using a bench. So this little bench lateral raise. Now, the advantage that this does is I'm putting extra force in the most lengthened part of this exercise. So by putting my body out to the side, gravity is pushing straight down at the most lengthened part of this movement, and that's going to really elevate the amount of tension in that deltoid, which has been shown to increase muscle growth, to have more tension in the exercise. So going from here, I'm gonna lateral raise up and then back down, all the way down to where my hand's at my side. So up and down. The other thing is I'm actually giving more space in my shoulder by doing this. So there's a nerve that runs through a gap in your shoulder. Some people have pain during a lateral raise. By putting my body sideways, I've actually made it so I don't have to go quite as high with my shoulder to compress that shoulder, while still getting a great exercise into that deltoid muscle. I'm trying to point my thumb straight towards the front. And 10. Now, might look a little bit different than what you've seen at the gym, but try it out. You'll feel that burn in your shoulder lifting like this. So doing a side-lying lateral raise. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You could even bring the dumbbell a little bit back so it goes past your leg. So bending your knees forward to let your arm really drop down into that lengthened position. 9 and 10. So if I was sideways like this, trying to do a lateral raise, this part right here, gravity is just pulling straight down and I'm not actually putting any pressure on that deltoid. So that's why putting my entire body sideways and using a bench like this makes it so this suddenly elevates the entire exercise in difficulty. So I'm putting all that extra tension directly into the muscle I want it to be into. I'm not putting it into ligaments anymore. 4, 5, 6, you should feel that burning in your deltoid. 7, 8, 9, and 10. So this is a small muscle that wraps around your shoulder, but if you're looking to build up the size of your shoulders, think about putting a pound of muscle here and a pound of muscle here. It'd be like shoulder pads, you know, like the football player big shoulder pads. Imagine that, but muscle out to the sides. So if you're looking to build that up, adding tension to that muscle is gonna make a huge difference in how much that muscle grows. So I'm putting all that extra tension by putting my arm out to the side in a lateral raise. So try this out. You might have to drop the dumbbell down to a lighter weight than you're used to, because this is a lot of extra tension by putting gravity directly against the movement. 7, 8, 9, and 10. Oh, I think that was set number 3. So we're trying for at least 3 sets if I can, but we'll see how it goes. I might try for more like 5 sets. Well, one side's working, the other side's resting on this exercise. That's the other thing I like about this. You can do it pretty quickly. Get a great burn into that muscle. Gonna take just a minute. Both sides are burning pretty badly. So I'll set the dumbbell down for a second, grab a sip of water. If you're liking the workout so far and want to see more, I host these live streams on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I'm documenting, showing everything I'm doing in my workout. So I'm not doing one thing and telling you another. I'm showing you exactly all of my workouts every week, what I'm doing to build up the physique that I'm going to get. So if you're interested in that, if you want just an honest approach to fitness, what you see is what you get on this live stream. I'm not doing any side workouts. I'm telling you what I'm doing and being upfront and showing you a reasonable time frame for what it takes to get there. So if you like that, hit subscribe and I hope to see you on Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific time. So, side lying lateral raises, arms straight out to the side, lifting up. I'm trying to point my thumb straight towards the front. 5, 6, 7, 8, going all the way back down, 9, and 10. And same thing other side. Now, if you don't have a bench, you could do this laying on your side. I like the bench a little bit more. It just gets me off the ground, and I find that I have a little bit more room to not have to worry about tapping the carpet. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Oh. Taking a little bit more rest time between sets because my shoulders definitely burn out on this one. It's okay to take a minute or two between sets to let that muscle recover, let that lactic acid clear out, that burning feeling. And if you're sweating in your workout, that's okay. That's a good sign. That means your body's working hard. You're working to stay cool. That's a very normal thing. A lot of people get worried about sweating at the gym, but honestly, no one there cares that you're sweating. They just see someone working hard, working to their potential. So, no one who goes to the gym regularly is judging you for sweating. I had a friend actually that had a medical condition where his body couldn't sweat, and it was actually very hard for him to work out because he would overheat. So he'd have to worry about splashing his face with cool water, keeping his body cool, because he wasn't able to sweat. So our last set, trying for our 5th set, seeing how many we can do. We might not get to 10. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, oh my gosh, and 10, we made it. All right, I should not have started with my right side. I should have taken my own advice. I just forgot to think about which side I was doing first. So normally I would start with my left and then go to my right. We'll see if we can get 10, 2, 3. I probably can, so I should be okay. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Oh, okay, we did it. So if you are liking these workouts and want to see more, I host them on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 11 a.m. Hit that subscribe button and the bell icon to be here live to join me in this fitness journey. I'm here to help you in any way I can and to show you what I'm doing in a no nonsense, I'm trying to be genuine and upfront with you guys about what I'm doing to get the results that I'm seeing. On Wayne Anda, hi sir. Hey, good to see you. Welcome. It caught me right as I was about to end our workout, but is there anything I can help you with? Or I'd love to chat. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you coming in and saying hi. Hope all is well with you, sir. And sorry for, I'm sure I've mispronounced your name, but Unwayne. I feel like I'm gonna butcher your name if I keep trying, but I so appreciate you being here. And so I hope to see you guys back here Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific time. I'll be here working out, showing what I'm doing and talking about why. If you have any questions or things you want to talk about, I'd love to see you. So